The Singapore guy is eating. The Singapore guy is talking about. The Singapore guy is at. The Singapore guy is playing. Hello, this is the Singapore guy here.
You had me worried there. Everything working all right? Good.
You all right down there?
We're fine.
Is dog okay?
Better now.
We've been waiting for you. Just follow the stream, then head up the other side. White Forest is right there. You can't miss it.
All right. Thanks. Okay, let's go. Come on, Gordon. Get the car and we'll challenge Doc to a race. Good boy. Looks like we need your help again. Would you mind? Way to go, boy! Okay, dog. Race you to the base. Step on it, Gordon. Gordon. This is it! We made it!
Here they come. It's Alex and Gordon Freeman.
Ah, Gordon Freeman.
Well, you won this time, dog. Let us in.
Yo, let him through.
So,
Thanks.
a really cool experience was that
Feeling you were close.
while I was at Valve, I was talking to one of the animators in the hallway, and
Never so glad to see him.
and we're just carrying on a conversation. I was getting to know what he did, and I just happened to be looking over my shoulder and noticed that people kept popping their heads out of their offices. And one of the other guys noted to me that these people, ooh, bless them, they have to sit around and listen to my voice all day long. So for that voice to be kind of just chatting in the hallway was a little weird. And I guess I kind of liken that. I can understand it because the very first time I saw my voice on Alex Vance's face, it was
Alex. Dr. Freeman, you made it.
Hey! Boy, are we glad to be here.
Yeah, we heard you ran into a little trouble out there. Combine's been trying to hit in the front door. I think they learned their lesson.
Mind if we keep dog patrolling out here?
Not at all. You heard him, dog. I'm gonna go see Dad. I'll catch up to you later. You take care of yourself.
I don't think Eli knows you're here yet. He's in Silo 1 access unit, right through here.
Shall we?
You smell that?
don't feel anything anymore.
Oh no, what's that?
Oh, now what?
Pretty sure this was...
All right, back to work, everyone. It's just another false alarm in the
Okay,
secondary
Doc,
silo.
let's take a walk.
Same old Dr. Magnuson.
So, you ever used an AR-2 before?
AR-2? No. Now, an AR-3, sure.
In sketching out the scenes for the episode, we noticed a lack of interpersonal conflict between the characters who had survived from Half-Life 2. Alex, Eli, and Dr. Kleiner have a lot of affection for one another, as you will see in many of the scenes. And while we all value the benefit of strong, positive relationships, we were happy to have Dr. Magnuson around to get irritated by all the hugging.
No time now, Doc.
We make a pretty good team.
Hey, that's good.
I was watching that.
Now that the suppression field's down, we all have to do our
Thanks,
part.
Freeman.
Dad?
Can you blame an old man for wanting grandkids? What happened to you?
Dad, it's not what it looks like. I'm fine.
Are you sure? Shouldn't we have that looked at?
Really, I'm fine. Where's Dr. Kleiner? We should get this data to him right away.
Yes, we should. He'll be glad to get out of the silo. This way, Gordon. The way he and Magnuson have been going at it, you'd think they were still competing for grant money.
Something's never changed. Do we have any idea how long until the super portal's active?
We don't know for certain. We're keeping an eye on it.
And what about the Combine? Will we be able to launch before they attack?
It's gonna be close. All it would take is one Strider to destroy our rocket. But we're ready for him.
I'm sorry we couldn't get here any sooner, Dad.
Don't worry, sweetheart. We're gonna make it. I'm just so glad to have you back.
I'm glad to be back.
Last thing on my mind was submitting it for the Kleiner certificate of approval. There troubles me I had with the result of staffing and supply deficiencies. And your cranial control parasite away from my nose cone!
Now listen here, Magnuson. There's no call for hurtful comments. Good grief. Eli!
Due to the number of characters involved in this scene and the cramped spaces, we found that the actors were constantly pushing the player around in order to get to their marks. We developed some tech that allowed the actors to gauge the position of the player and the other actors.
Dr. Magnuson was the result of a decision to bring forward another signature character from the original Half-Life, along the lines of Dr. Kleiner and Barney. As we developed the character, we kept referring back to this line from Half-Life to keep us on track.
Gordon doesn't need to hear all this. He's a highly trained professional. We've assured the administrator that nothing will go wrong.
Though we liked the character who came into focus, we found that this voice was sounding too much like a caricature for our increasingly grim and realistic world. We like to hire actors with the natural voices that we want for our characters, as opposed to hiring actors to create voice characterizations. In John Aylward,
if you listened closely to the Vortigaunts in the Antland tunnels, you may have heard one of them using a complaint very similar to Dr. Magnuson's here. Their affinity to Dr. Magnuson has caused some of his mannerisms to spread among them by way of their low-grade telepathy.
We've got to see this right away.
Just let me start the decoding process, and then we can view it in the auxiliary control room.
For God's sake, hurry.
Yes, of course.
Another alarm?
What next in the parade of constant interruption? Hello, is anyone there? Anyone? False alarms all day. Damn crows have been nesting in the tracks. I do not know how I am supposed to concentrate with all of this racket. Freeman, you're not doing anything. Make yourself useful and find out what the hell is going on.
Yes. Gordon, if you don't mind, I'd feel better if you had a look.
Catch up with us when you're done.
Where do you think you're going, Freeman? Freeman! The blast doors will have sealed due to the alert, so you'll have to go through the bottom of the launch tube. I'll open this hatch to let you down. Now, once you're down there, I'll have Uriah let you into the secondary silo.
Rather than just make up something that would fit our fantasies of a rocket, we designed Dr. Magnuson's rocket around blueprints from the Titan family of missiles. Grounding the details of our world in reality, making them as precise as possible, makes the invented, fantastic elements seem that much more believable.
This is Dr. Magnuson. Since the secondary silo staff seem incapable of solving their little crow problem, you will be happy to hear we have put the popular Dr. Freeman on the job. We all look forward to his remedy. And I look forward to hearing the
We intended White Forest to offer a change of pace from the constant action that preceded it. A few moments to reunite with old friends and get to know Dr. Magnuson. A breather before the big battle ahead. However, our first version of the sequence was a logjam of long, talky scenes. Gordon and Alex stood around listening to Kleiner and Magnuson argue at the top of the silo, then rode an elevator to the bottom of the shaft while Dr. Kleiner lectured them about rockets and satellites. They wandered into a control room to watch Dr. Mossman's transmission, and then hatched a plan to get her back. We knew we were in trouble when even the authors of the scene were bored, and no one had the patience for the revelations that followed. We divided the sequence into a number of smaller pieces that could be interleaved with solitary exploration and some combat. This required rebuilding the path and moving the control room.
This steam jet is an example of something we call a mechanic refresher. It's meant to refresh the player's memory on how to perform a certain task they may not have used in a while. In this case, we remind the player about using valves to turn off steam in a relaxed environment. In the map just ahead, this trick will be fresh in their mind, and they'll be far more likely to realize they can use steam jets tactically when they encounter them in a combat situation.
In Half-Life 2, when we first decided to make Vortigaunt ally characters, we played around with having a prominent Vortigaunt companion. Because of their bowed posture and semi-servile manner, this individual was dubbed Heap, after Dickens' character Uriah Heep. In Episode 2, we named the prominent Vort at White Forest Base Uriah.
Originally created as a minor background character, the Vortigaunt lab assistant, known internally as Labby, was so popular with playtesters that he evolved into a fully developed character with a unique name and a special place by Dr. Magnuson's side.
For God's sake, Freeman, what is taking you so long? Oh, I cannot concentrate with all of this racket. These feathered fiends are the most persistent I have ever... Wait, what is this?
Right through here. Magnuson must have sent you, huh?
Oh my God. Oh dear. This is a breach. A breach. Attention personnel. This is Dr. Magnuson. We are experiencing a breach of internal base defenses. Please bear with us while we pinpoint the location of the breach.
One of the main goals for Hunters was to make the player feel he was vulnerable wherever he might hide. This arena in the secondary silo became our testbed for improving the Hunter's close combat behavior. A classic combat space, featuring multiple exits and many possible paths, we tuned it for a strong cat-and-mouse gameplay experience. While players have many options for escape, the map is designed so that Hunters will never completely lose them, but always be able to pursue and flush the player out of hiding.
Level designers and artists now have the ability to create unique effects as needed, for gameplay or to add dynamic life to a level. In this case, this simple water leak wouldn't have been possible before without involving a programmer to create a new class of effect. Thanks to the new particle system, unique effects like this are easily created as needed, without any programming. This leak adds a visual point of interest to the area and also blocks direct line of sight into the nearby corridor, without blocking the space itself. These effects can be placed and controlled within levels, attached to animation events of characters, or called by code. Allowing particles to be attached to objects in the world, emitted from a model's hitboxes, and locked to bone positions allows them to serve a wide variety of functions, such as the new Vortigaunt beams or the burning effect of a zombie. We hope this feature will allow level and mod authors to create a wide variety of effects quickly and easily to suit their purposes.
I repeat, there has been a breach of the secondary silo by way of the overhead launch doors. I will trust you to seal the silo doors. has been sealed. Well, back to work.
Gordon! Thank goodness you're okay. Phew. Glad that's over. We couldn't get in till you sealed off the silo when the blast doors opened up.
Regrettably true.
I better let my dad know you're all right. Dad?
Yes, is everything okay? Is Gordon all right?
Yes, he's fine. And thanks to him, the base is secure.
Good. We're about to watch the transmission from Judith.
We'll head right over.
The Freeman must follow. Follow, Freeman. If you would take the Freeman from here, I can return to my place of honor at the side of the Magnusons.
Sure thing. Thanks for the help. Dr. Kleiner told me that Judith headed north in a helicopter right after they got here. But he wouldn't tell me why.
Yes.
I'm fairly sure I picked down the location of the project. It's hard to say how much of it might have survived intact or whether there's anything remaining that could compromise our work. If it were
So a lot of times we'll try a line in several different ways, like set a different mood for a different scene, or maybe just do a different take on a line. Like one might be, it sounds trite, but you know, one excited, one not so excited, or one a little more pensive and thoughtful. Suggestions are always thrown out there for new reads, and it's the coolest kind of teamwork. It's not just, here's your script, go. It's, let's work this out, let's find the best middle.
Aperture Science, being specialized in the development of portal technology, fit naturally into the cosmology of Half-Life. Rather than forcing Portal into the Half-Life franchise, we used it as an opportunity to make our world bigger. By suggesting a long-term rivalry between Aperture Science and Black Mesa, we opened up possibilities in both games that didn't exist when they were separate entities.
They must have compromised ordinary standards of risk. And simply disappeared. With all hands, and even part of the dry dock. Few believed the Borealis would ever be seen again.
It should have been lost forever.
Ah, but now that we've found it, we can use it against the Combine.
Did you use it? That thing has to be destroyed.
But think of the advantage for humanity. We can't simply waste all that potential.
Has Black Mesa taught you anything? There's no controlling that kind of power.
Well, yes. There's always a risk, Eli. But my goodness, we have coordinates, blueprints, hailing frequencies. Quite ingenious of Dr. Mossman to find
That means she's still alive up there. But it's a Combine catcher. They'll tear out everything she knows. There'll be nothing left of her.
But we don't know for sure.
That can't. I'm going after her.
Now, Eli, the only thing worse than Judith falling into their hands would be if they should get a hold of you. She may know the particulars of the Borealis, but you know everything about the Resistance.
Listen to Dr. Kleiner, Dad. Gordon and I are more than able to do this. We'll get her back.
Kleiner, where are you? Why isn't the decoding finished?
Oh, fine. The code. Yes, Magnuson. It just needs a little bit longer.
If you're waiting for the Combine's go-ahead, they'll soon be here to give it to you in person.
I'll hurry it along, Magnuson. I'll be back as soon as I finish.
Dad, are you okay?
Not again. Not again. I can't let it happen again. Not another Black Mesa.
Dad, prepare for unforeseen consequences.
What did you say?
Dad! Okay. It's okay. Just lean into me. Let's get you off your feet.
Thank you, baby. I'll be fine in a minute or two.
Okay. Do you need anything?
Actually, Alex, would you mind getting me a cup of tea? There's a hot plate in the old staff room.
I'll be right back. Gordon, did you keep an eye on him?
We're not going anywhere. Thank you, baby. Unforeseen consequences. The last time I heard those words was back at Black Mesa. You had just stepped into the test chamber when he whispered them in my ear. You know who I'm talking about. Our mutual friend. When he brought in that crystal, I knew I should have aborted that damn test, but I didn't. The whole world went to hell that day. And now he's using my little girl, putting words in her mouth. God damn it. I should have known when he rescued her it was for his own damn reasons. Gordon, there's so much I need to tell you. Between us, we may finally have a chance.
Here you go. Is everything all right?
There's nothing, honey.
All right, people, change of plans. There is no way we can launch before those Striders are... Oh, excuse me if I'm interrupting tea time. I'll just step out until you've finished, if that's more convenient.
It's all right, honey.
Well, Freeman, I believe I've found the perfect use for you. Follow me, quickly.
We'll talk later.
I'll catch up with you in a bit.
Freeman, Striders are coming. A single one of those damn things could...
The Strider Buster, or Magnuson device, started life as a Half-Life 2 weapon called the Hopwire. This was a weapon that would leap into the air and create physical connections via ropes to the surfaces around it. Once attached, the ball would be suspended in the air, ready for action. We never shipped that weapon because it wasn't generally usable enough in our environment, especially outdoors. One side experiment created the black hole Hopwire that the mod community found in Episode 1's code. You can still find videos of this in action on YouTube. The black hole version created a true physical vortex that sucked anything near it into an incredibly dense singularity. This created a small dense block comprised of all the mass and matter the vortex had collected, which the player could then pick up and hurl at enemies. We returned to the Hopwire for Episode 2, where we thought we could use it to tie the Strider's legs together and make it trip. But the mechanic of hurling and attaching the Strider Buster was more fun for players, so we moved the weapon in that direction.
This whiteboard art went through several iterations, from highly stylized, to absurd, through to something we believe we could ship.
Fans of Half-Life 1 may remember a gag involving a microwave oven in the Black Mesa lunchroom. If you push the microwave button several times, the casserole inside it explodes. A memorable experience for many first-time players of Half-Life. In Episode 2, we thought it was finally time to let you know whose lunch you had ruined, and give you a chance at redemption.
Out of the dispenser. That's right. Now toss it at the main body of the Strider. Good. Now, take out the firearm of your choice and... There you go. Not too difficult at this range, is it? Gets a bit harder when it's moving about and firing at you, of course. Now, let's move on to a more challenging task. Uriah, send the target to the far end of the rails. Try it now. Magnificent device, isn't it? I'll be right over here when you are ready to head out. Enough? Your car is fueled and ready to go. Now, every building in the valley has its own dispenser port, so you'll have ample supply of explosives. Now, I must get back to my rocket, Freeman. I'm relying on you not to squander my trust, or my Magnuson's. Oh, and Freeman, if you pull this off, I might just forgive you for that debacle at Black Mesa. You know the one I mean. Involving a certain microwave casserole.
Hey, Dr. Freeman, over here. I've taken a few liberties with your car. Check it out. I added a rack for...
We wanted players to use the car as much as possible, both to move around the valley quickly, and to run over the hunters as a quick and satisfying way of killing them. To encourage this, and to help with orientation problems, we added radar to the car.
One problem we faced in this map was that players would abandon their car in the heat of battle and not be able to find it later. Given the time pressure and large scale of the map, some of these players couldn't succeed in protecting the base on foot. To address this, we started by adding flashing hazard lights to the car, which helped when the car was in view, but we still saw players lose the car among the trees or behind hills. Eventually, we added a vehicle locator to the player's HEV suit, so players could find the car wherever it was.
You'll find the sawmill at the far end of the valley.
Perimeter's clear. Still no
Before we create any final art, we use placeholders to see if the gameplay is working, and to figure out the proper dimensions and shapes for the model. In this level, we used an old pumpkin model as the placeholder for the Magnuson device. After we decided that the gameplay was fun and the pumpkin worked well, a proper model was created using the pumpkin as a template.
The massive Strider battle was in production longer than any other map in the episode. Tuning it required many months of testing and iteration to address playtester feedback, and this was complicated by the fact that every time we playtested, we saw individuals adopt completely different approaches to defeating the Striders. Some threw logs at the hunters, others relied on their rebel companions to kill them. Some players never sprinted, while others never used the car. We tried to keep supporting all the different strategies that occurred to players so that their experiments with tactics would be rewarding rather than frustrating. Meanwhile, we had to make sure the Strider and Hunter behaviors were consistent and balance the experience so that it would be great for all different playstyles at every skill level.
They're waiting for you in the sawmill. That way.
A great deal of work went into making sure players would see the buildings get destroyed as they travel around the valley in the final battle. While we cannot and do not wish to force the player to see these events,
we tried to increase the odds that the player would end up in the best possible position for the show. Measures ranged from simply hiding a strider behind rocks to setting up complex logic conditions that must be met in order for the destruction to occur.
We'll keep this place stocked with health! So, they've sent Freeman, have they? Good man. We've counted a dozen striders just...
Episode 2's rocket defense battle was the largest and most non-linear combat experience we had built. It was also the first combat we created that required the use of a vehicle to move from battle to battle. Our design goal was to give players a broad directive, protect the rocket from incoming striders, and let them decide how to accomplish that. Playtesting revealed a number of challenges that we had to overcome, as the free-form nature of the map led to huge variation in success for different...
Many players had a hard time orienting themselves in the valley. Before the fight, we send players to the sawmill without telling them how to get there. This was a way of familiarizing them with the map without any time pressure. Still, the size and nonlinearity of the map was confusing for first-time players once the battle began. The loudspeaker announcements that direct players to incoming striders initially referred to compass directions, which most players couldn't follow because they couldn't remember which way was north. We added White Forest Peak as a global landmark and distinctive local landmarks like the cranes and the water tower, and referred to those landmarks in the announcements instead of compass directions. This helped, but some players still had a hard time knowing which way to go at any given moment. Our ultimate solution was the car's radar, which, along with the landmarks, helps players go where the action is.
That hunter targeted the Magnuson! Take out the hunters!
Alert! There's a strider getting close to the base! They're closing in on the silo! Hold them off! Strider at the sawmill.
Nice one, Freeman!
Vital signs critical.
Players under pressure can overlook basic tasks, so we try to make the important ones foolproof. On this map, players often forget to check their health level, but rarely forget to seek out Magnuson devices. We narrow doorways and set health supply racks right by the entries, so that players rushing in to get explosives would find themselves automatically picking up vital supplies.
Keep an eye out. It looks like hunters are traveling with the Striders. They're working in packs. Now we have a Strider coming in from the water tower.
Good going!
Wow, Gordon. You were amazing out there. Come on. Is in its final stages. The portal's close to opening, but Dr. Magnuson sure will be in time to stop it.
Complete. Tracking beacon. Oh, there's another bit of cruft we can ignore. Support equipment powered down. Hold on a moment, Kleiner. Ah, Freeman. Well, I see the Magnuson device performed flawlessly. I feel compelled to thank you personally for saving my rocket. So, thank you. Well, that's enough chit-chat. I've got a rocket to launch.
Wow. For a minute there, I thought you were going to get a hug.
Powered and ready. Check, check, check.
It constantly amazes me how many people are involved in creating her, because everyone who is involved seems to have the same vision for her. And for so many people to have one mind about a character, it blows my mind. I mean, very rarely do I get a piece of direction or script that doesn't ring true to how I feel about Alex, and vice versa. And strangely enough, as soon as I try something out and something doesn't ring true, I'm usually not the first person to say it, even though I might be feeling it, somebody else will say it. And it's just, I guess, a testament to how in tune everybody is about what kind of person Alex is, and what she would do, what she wouldn't do, and, you know, what kind of girl she is.
We're back! At last.
Ah, Gordon. Hell of a job you did out there, son.
Let's not forget that with the Magnuson device, those...
The launch of Magnuson's rocket ties directly into the rocket Gordon launched at Black Mesa. Here, the portal satellite array that opened a gate to Zen in Half-Life 1 has been repurposed to shut the Combine out. This is just another example of the way we constantly try to weave the old threads of the Half-Life story into the new episodes.
I believe Gordon should have the honor.
You'll hear no objection from me.
It's all yours, Gordon. Well, you gonna push the button? It's all yours. Launch that thing.
Silo doors open. Stations, everyone. Power to main thrusters. Steady on.
T-minus 10, 9,
We're launching.
8, 7, 6, 5,
Steady.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah!
We did it!
We sure did.
Just get control of myself.
Yes!
Fantastic.
Deep breath. Deep breath. Now it is still too early to celebrate. We need to reach altitude and transmit the signal.
Too right. The clock is ticking.
We couldn't have cut it any closer if that was our intention.
It is going to work, right?
It has to.
Once the rocket is in range of the portal, we'll be able to switch on the xenium resonator.
Well, let's get outside. I'd like a better view of the fireworks.
There should be quite a show. Regrettably, I can't come out with you. Magnuson and I will need to keep a close eye on the rocket's trajectory.
Aren't you gonna see us off?
Just as soon as this is wrapped up, I wouldn't dream of letting you go without a proper goodbye.
Okay, I'll hold you to that. You too, Dr. Magnuson.
Indeed.
We'll catch up with you in a moment, sweetheart. Gordon, hold up a
Dog,
second.
there you are.
The more I think about that warning from our friend, the more I'm convinced it has to do with Borealis. Don't be deceived. That ship must never be used. You have got to destroy it, whatever the cost.
Where are you two? You're gonna miss it.
Be right there, Alex. Gordon, thanks for everything you've done. For Alex, for all of us. I couldn't be prouder if you were my own son. Now, when you get back, we've got a lot to talk about.
Come on!
Episode 2's backgrounds or vistas are created in a manner that fuses traditional 2D animation techniques, using linear cards moving against each other to imply parallax, and a modern digital take which involves placing these cards in a 3D environment and manipulating their size and distance from camera depending on the scale needed. A series of cards can sit in front of a 3D skybox, and with the addition of atmosphere or fog, a realistic result can be achieved.
We sure as hell did, and not a moment too soon.
I'll bet the Combine aren't too happy right now.
You got that right, sweetheart. But we've got plenty to celebrate. I wish you didn't have to head off so soon. If only it weren't so critical.
We'll find Judith and bring her back. Dog? Hey, where are you? What a nut. Don't go too far.
Developing the Half-Life episodes allows us to steadily flesh out the details in an ongoing cosmic struggle. Most of this conflict remains far in the background, but little by little we are able to bring new elements up front. One of our goals for Episode 2 was to fully develop the grub-like advisors, first glimpsed in Half-Life 2. In Episode 1, they make several brief appearances, but have...
To create the Eli death sequence, we talked it through in great detail, wrote up an outline with all the events we discussed, and then produced an animatic. We used rough sketches painted over screenshots.
The decision to kill Eli was not made lightly, and once we'd made it, we had to figure out how to make it meaningful.
We'd already established Eli's frailty as well as his importance to the Resistance and Alex's devotion to him, so from a narrative point of view, the impact of his death seemed obvious.
This final episode 2 scene was unbelievable. Before we even started working on it, the team sat me down and they kind of did a little show and tell of the rough animation that they had. And I think they were hesitant to show it to me, but just from that rough animation, I was so moved. I mean, just immediately moved to tears. I felt like I'd just been gut punched, and I immediately felt it. I was like, let's go. Let's get on this. So it shouldn't surprise me. It shouldn't surprise me by now, because I've been working on Alex for so long now. But every time we come to the table to do a new scene or lay down some new material, I am always blown away. And this scene was just the epitome of that feeling. I was so pumped to get in there and start working on it. And they're always upping the ante and always taking it to the next level. But this time, this scene is different. Because this time, Alex loses. And I think this is it is a major sacrifice. You see her carrying around the wounds of her mother that she lost, but her dad made her who she is. Her dad taught her, her dad groomed her, and I think, most importantly, he loved her. And this script was a gift and a gut punch all in one. I don't know. When you give me something like that, it really motivates me to kind of try to knock it out of the ballpark. I love playing Alex, and I have to say, it's definitely my favorite acting job I've ever had, hands down.